안녕하세요. 만나서 반갑습니다. My name is Mitch. I am a research consultant of Industrial Technology Research Institute, ITRI, in Taiwan. I'm also serving as the vice chair of the Applications Working Group in the Next Generation Alliance, NGA. It is my honor and a privilege to share with you the global efforts on 6G development. My talk, I will focus on the two leading organizations doing 6G development. One is Next Generation Alliance, NGA. The other one is NGMN, followed with some work in ITRI and to show how we contribute to the 6G development. Believe it or not, while the world is focusing on deploying the 5G networks, the work on 6G has started. Many years ago, universities, vendors, operators, and many other research institutes have started work. They form different kind of organizations, and they also have some group seminars to drive the work. The objective is to try to standardize all the necessary technologies through 3GPP and eventually got adopted into ITU by 2030. And currently, the major players in the 6G sandbox are NGMN and the Next Generation Alliance. Next Generation Alliance is formed by ADAS in 2020 with a mission to regain the wireless leadership for 6G development of North America. With that, the organization has set up the 6G roadmap, and also they have set up a lot of priorities to including try to satisfy the social needs and economic goals and also technology developments for the North America under their 6 audacious goals. The work in NGA is very straightforward. We start from the research, and then we make sure that we have developed all the necessary elements to implement 6G by running that through the various applications and services. The whole idea is, of course, we try to regain the standard leadership from North America. But not only that, we also focus on the market readiness. We want to make sure that the industry is actually welcoming and also will adopt the work, the standards right after we finish the development. And of course, the realization, the implementation details also need to be covered. One thing I'd like to also point out that even though we say we focus on the standard leadership, NGA does not do the standard development. Rather, it will provide input such as requirements to the 3GPP and ITU. NGA is a member-based organization. It is managed by the steering group, but all the work is done under 6 working groups. One is the national roadmap, the other one is technology, Green G, societal needs, spectrum, and applications working group. I am serving as the vice chair of this working group, applications working group. We also have 2 committees. One is a Marcom and the other one is policy. They are in charge of try to promote our work by the NGA and also coordinate with the government. We also have this group called the Technical Program Office. They provide the secretarial support and also they do the project management for all the work of these working groups. We recently formed this research council, half of them from the industry, half of them from the universities. They will determine the research goals and the priorities for the NGA. The NGA members has the 3 kind of members. One is that the full member and the funding members. These members need to be registered in the United States and also demonstrate that they have a significant market presence in the North America market. So pretty much they are the stakeholders for the whole process as well. The second kind of NGA membership is called the contributing members. These are typically the organizations like research institutes, universities, and even some companies. The whole idea is they need to have a registration in the North America, but they may not have a sizable market, but they are willing to contribute to the 6G development process. The third one is called the government members. We only have 5 members that's kind of associated with governments. These will serve as the liaisons with the government entities and to help guide NGA and also help get the funding from the government and also try to meet the regulatory and policy requirements. The major work to communicate with the world about NGA's work is through the publication of the Next G Alliance reports. So far, we have 6 reports published focusing on green roadmap application and also the 6G technologies. We also have 2 focused on the distributed cloud and communication systems, and also the latest one is the trust, security, and the resilience. These technical reports, right, these alliance reports has been published, and there are several in the pipe as well. NGA's work is driven by this so-called 6 audacious goals. These goals are set and approved by all members. The goals including trust, security, and resilience, digital world experience, cost effectiveness, and also distributed cloud and the communication systems, AI-powered, AI-native network and solutions, and sustainability. These are the drivers for all the discussions and also the publications. We actually try to use this to satisfy all the stakeholders' interests. Each audacious goal will have a mission statement and also the national imperatives and also the research challenges associated with that. I don't have time to introduce all 6, so let me just focus on the one I'm most familiar with because it's tied to the work in the applications working group, which is called a digital world experiences. The mission statement calls that 6G will support multi-sensory experience to enable transformative forms of human-to-human, human-to-machine, and the machine-to-machine interactions that bring the life-improving use cases to create a new economic value. So this pretty much tells that we are trying to build a brand new digital world experience for the future. In order to achieve that audacious goal, we have been developing applications that affect life, society, and the industry. These including the ones that use in the everyday living, such as service robots or indoor-outdoor delivery services, and also the intelligent travel assistance. We also try to build in this world experience when you do the real-time interactive gaming, mixed reality to entertainment, and also the mixed reality powered classrooms and also the transportations. Then we also try to have these robots including the digital twins and robotics for hazardous conditions to handle this critical environment or critical operational situations. Then, of course, we also try to have this digital equity covered to try to take care of the societal goals. Those applications areas can be categorized as 4 key 6G application classes, which is multi-sensory extended reality, network-enabled robotics and autonomous systems, distributed sensing and communications, and lastly, the personalized user experience. The applications and service developed for these 4 categories form the basis to provide the users in the 6G time with a brand new digital world experience. For the 4 categories of the work, we have developed 16 use cases, and ITRI has contributed 3 of them, namely the field robot for hazardous environment and the ultra-realistic interactive sport, drone racing, and the last one is the remote data collection. And you can see that each category has multiple use cases to support that. This is how the NGA is used, try to communicate through the world that how we are seeing what the future world will be. This actually use cases has been published in the requirement document. Next, I'd like to change the gear a little bit to talk about NGNM. NGNM, as you know, is a global standardized organization based in Europe. They have members from Asia and Europe, and mostly some of the US members also participate in this. And they have 3 categories of members. Typically, you can see that the operators are the ones. And then we also have contributors. They typically are the vendors or research organizations. They actually provide some input to support the technical development. And then we also have advisors to follow this progress and also help promote the technologies. And ITRI is one of the advisors. The 6G work started about 2 years ago as well. And then they actually follow this route. They have tried to because they want to start from 5G and then go through this 5G advance and then go to 6G. They take this kind of evolutional view for this one. So then the first one is that they need to talk about the route to disaggregation, right? Disaggregation. So they want to focus on the end-to-end operational model to divide the network and then introduce the open network concept on that. On the top of that, they also want to build this sustainable, environmental friendly network. They call it Green Future Solutions. And of course, the core part we are focusing on right now is this 6G. They're going to just try to do analysis and then try to help the industry migrating from 5G advanced, and 6G. I'm proud to report that 6G work, regardless it's in NGA or in MGNN, is never been considered as a step jump. That means we need to continue the evolvement from 5G. And with that, sometimes you'll see that the proposals, like in our application today, some people may have an argument about these are not really 6G applications per se. But our argument is that, well, you got to start from somewhere else, right? So somewhere. And then with this progress, then you can get better. The first publication for 6G work is actually the 6G use cases. This document was published in February this year. And inside, they have 4 categories and actually 4 group of the general use cases. And in totally, I think it's 14 use cases for that matter. NG and M follow a slightly different approach than NGA. They're focusing on the enhanced human communications. So it's human. And then they also focus on the enhanced machine communications, right? Machine-based. And then enabling services, which is focused on the what we can do to create a better future, better environment, better efficiency, and also maybe better human-machine interfaces. And of course, everything what we want to do to present a total different 6G user experience will be based on the evolved network. And this network can be seen that it is highly trusted and also is AI based. And of course, when we talk about a 6G network, it has to be a green network. So energy efficiency is very important. So I'm using here to talk about the NGMN as summarized in 4 words as people, human, machine, service, and the network. And the process we are doing right now is that use use cases to develop requirements, and then eventually we develop these 6G systems, right? Remember, I'm calling these 6G systems. I never say the 6G networks, because we believe when we go to the 6G part, it will be more than just a network. And we're under the phase of developing requirements. As I mentioned earlier, this 6 use cases and final analysis paper was published February this year. And then we are working on the requirements. Also, the target is on February 2023. The activity is we have meetings every other week, bi-weekly, every other week. And typically it's like 2 hours in the morning in Asia, 2 hours in the morning in the United States. And then unfortunately in Asia, it will be kind of close to midnight. And that time may not be convenient for people. However, we wish that our Asian partners can also join. So now we talk about this development, a global development with these 2 organizations. So when we talk about 6G, and I just touched briefly. So is 6G a real evolution or it's a revolution? But when we do the research in the 6G, we only focus on what 6G can do, especially when you go to the higher frequency band, what kind of technologies can be developed, and what kind of technology is required to transmit the data in the higher bandwidth environment. So they focus on the 6G networks and 6G technology at that time. However, we also need to face the fact that the release 17 has just been officially out by 3GPP this year, which is a 5G. Then eventually we'll go to the more phases, release 17, 18, 19, and those are what they call the 5G advances, right? And then when we try to go to the 6G, typically I think the roadmap asks for starting to work maybe in 2025, 26 era, and hopefully we can get the standard ready before the 2030 deadline imposed by ITU. So in 5G, we noticed that we have MMTC, URLLC, and EMBB. But when we go to the 5G advanced stage, it's just an enhancement for these three parts plus some features. But when we go to the 6G, we're hoping that we have more compute fabric, right? That means that we combining the computation and the network together. And then we also have an immersive digital world experience, right? That's something I have a passion for. Then in order to do these two, we actually form this AI native network to make our network more intelligent and more efficient. Then this network sensing is something that people talk about a lot today. I personally am still thinking how we can use this one to improve our future because I do need this. However, a lot of discussions today seems focusing more on the radio sensing. It's just joint radio and the sensing. That part may not achieve the objective of what we want. We might need to combine that with other sources. Now I'd just like to take a few minutes to introduce how ETRI is contributing to the 6G. We are actually trying to help the development by introducing some realistic use cases, including this one called ultra-realistic interactive sports drone racing. Drone racing is started or is using today. The first Grand Prix was held in 2016 in Dubai. That one drew a lot of attention to the world because they are they're developing this racetrack in Dubai and then in the night, and then put you the courses and the drone are flying across those races. You can find those excitements from YouTube. The thing we are thinking about this one is that this will provide a very good use case for 6G because it will involve the multimedia displays to provide this realistic effect for the pilot and the audience. On the other hand, the network need to support it quickly to make sure all the excitement, all the picture qualities, and also all the network control continuities are there. So this will be something we are targeting for to provide the world with an immersive, interactive, and intelligent digital world experience. Drone racing can be done with the 5G technology today because that's what we are using. But then the user experience and the audience experience can be greatly enhanced only with the 6G network when we have this true HD HMI, and then the network will be smoothly operating based on the AI network and with other technology in 6G to support this to make this a true 6G application. What ETRI is doing is that we are thinking about right now we are in the 5G era and we're going through this URLLC and EMBB MMTC stuff. The next phase we certainly want to do this telepresence and telesensing and teleoperation. But eventually we want to have this immersive and interactive and intelligent element add to all the experiences, all the applications, so that you create a brand new 6G immersive digital world experience, right? Then we understand that this cannot be done just by ourselves. So I followed this lead of an old African proverb. So if you want to walk fast, you walk alone. But if you want to walk far, we work together. That means with all the collaborations we can have, then we will achieve our common goals to make a 6G a better solution. I understand that maybe in Korea you have a different agenda because you might want to start your 6G process ahead of everybody. I think that's a very bold objective. However, we also need to pay attention to that. If you just have a very small steps into that, you may not really achieve the wow factor that 6G is promising. So let's all work together, and then ETRI has been contributed in the NGMN and NGA. So you're welcome to reach out to me, and then we can all work together. Together, we can walk far. 감사합니다. Thank you very much. I hope I'll see you somewhere in the future. Bye-bye.